Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am your teacher Simin Amir and today I am here again with a new lecture. I hope everything is going well at your side. Let's start today's lecture. This is my lecture number 26 for grade Pre-O and we have a geography class today. We are going to start the new chapter which is unit number 6 and this is fishing industry of Pakistan. Fishery and fish industry plays a significant part in the national economy of Pakistan, contributing about 1% to GDP and providing jobs to about 1% of the country's labor force. It is the most important economic activity in the coastal area of Pakistan. With a coastline of about 814 km, Pakistan has enough fishery resources that remain to be developed. Most of the population of coastal areas of Sindh and Balochistan depends on fisheries for livelihood. Fishing is one of the oldest occupations for people who live near lakes, rivers, and seas. These are still very important for catching large quantities of wild fish. Wild fish means like the fish that comes from natural resources. With the progress of civilization, fishing communities started breeding fish. This is called fish farming or aquaculture. And in Pakistan, there are many fish farms inland using man-made rectangular ponds as well as using protected areas in rivers and lakes. Marine fishing now includes some modern developments in the processing and exporting of the catch. Fish farming is the man-made farms that we made from the inland water bodies. And marine fishing is known as the fishing on the sea. The fishing industry has potential for further development. Although its share of the GDP is nearly 1%, Pakistan earns 6% of its total foreign exchange earnings by exporting fish, shrimps, and fish products. Fishing is the main occupation in the coastal settlements of Sindh, except Karachi and Balochistan. The total number of people employed in fish is about 395,000, out of which 125,000 are engaged in marine fishing and 270,000 people are engaged in inland fishing. There's a difference between marine fishing and inland fishing. I've told you inland fishing means that the fishing in the other water bodies like in streams, lakes, springs, rivers, etc. While the marine fishing is fishing that is done in the sea. Although the number of people employed in marine fishing is under half of those employed in inland fishing, the marine catch is nearly 3 times that of the inland catch. This is because of the quality and quantity of fish and the more efficient marine fishing techniques. Fishing areas and fishing methods in Pakistan. Marine fishing. Pakistan is a coastline divided into Sindh and Makran coast. Makran coast is in Balochistan. The Sindh coast is about 30% of the coastline and the Makran coast is about 70%. You have the figure 6.2 on page number 97 in your book, which shows the extent of the coastline of Pakistan, the Makran coast and the Sindh coast. Mangrove trees, which are breeding grounds for fish and shrimps, grow in the mouths of the distributaries of the Indus and Hub deltas. In Sindh, Karachi is the main fishing center. On the Makran coast, fishing ports are small, often no more than villages like Somyani and Jiwani. Gwadar is the most important fishing port on this coast. It is being developed as a fishing center by providing improved facilities such as an ice factory, refrigeration plants, and modern fish curing yards. Curing yards is a place where fish is preserved. Improvements are being made at Ormala and Pasni. These are the fishing ports. There are two types of marine fishing. Subsistence fishing and commercial fishing. Subsistence fishing is fishing for personal consumption or traditional or ceremonial purposes. This is fishing. The fishing are very small scale, low technology, low capital fishing practices undertaken by individual fishing households. Many of these households are of coastal or island ethnic groups. These households make short fishing trips close to the shore. When the fisherman and his family consume the fish they catch, some fishing communities on the coast are engaged in subsistence fishing, as fish is the main component of their diet. Commercial fishing refers to the harvesting of fish either in whole or in part for sale or for trade. Commercial fishing is the activity of catching fish and other seafood for commercial profit, mostly from wild fisheries. It provides a large quantity of food to many countries around the earth, but those who practice it as an industry must often pursue fish far into the ocean under adverse condition. So this fishing is the fish is in this fishing, the fish is sold in the market. A number of fishing communities depend on fishing as the sole source of their income. Sole source means like the only source or the single source of their income. There are two main centers of commercial fishing, Karachi and Gwadar. The Sindh coast is more important and accounts for nearly 68% of the total marine catch. There are a number of factors that account for the development of fishing along the Sindh coast. Number one, it has numerous creeks. For the Sindh coast, it has numerous creeks, like many creeks. Creeks are narrow shelter waterways, or we can say the tributaries. Sheltered harbors. Sheltered harbors, like harbors, mean the small ports. And a wide, shallow sea beyond. Number two, it has the advantage of a wider continental shelf than the Makran coast. Continental shelf means a seabed around a large landmass. And the Indus Delta is rich in fish food, much of which is brought down to the delta by the river Indus. It has better export and processing facilities. That's why Sindh coast is more developed than Makran or than Makran coast. In commercial fishing, in addition to the traditional sailboats and fish nets, new techniques in fishing are also in use. The gill netters are mechanized boats, and mechanized boats have made it possible to fish like 50 to 60 kilometers from the coast in deep sea water. Traditional sailboats can only go up to 5 kilometers off the shore, but however, the traditional sailboats are still widely used by the many small fisheries. In Karachi, the government has developed the Korangi Fish Harbour where storage and packing facilities are available to fishermen. But the Makran coast is slowly being developed with improved facilities for docking. Docking means is docking of sailboats, like when sailboats stop for ships by putting their anchors. Handling of the catch, preservation and storage. Almost all the communities on the coast of Balochistan depend on fishing for their livelihood. Among Balochi fishing families, children learn the skills early in life, and everyone lends a hand or give help to their hands with the day's work. Although the Balochistan sea water is rich in fish, fishermen are able to catch only limited amount of fish because of their conventional methods, their old methods. Recently, infrastructure facilities have been provided at Gwadar, Ormada and Pasni fish harbors, which will help to increase the fish catch. The different types of marine fish catch is like sharks, drums, croakers, catfish, skates, rays, and many others. Inland fisheries are the commercial fishing operation taking place in fresh water. Some of this fishing is capture fishing, where the fish living naturally in a body of water are harvested. The other type of inland fishery is the fish farm, where fish are raised in tanks or ponds, generally for human consumption. The inland resources are in the form of rivers and canals, floodplains, lakes, ponds and tanks, reservoirs, and brackish water resources offer great opportunities for livelihood development. Inland fishing is practiced in almost all the rivers and lakes in the country. In addition, the large reservoirs behind dams, the lakes, which is known as duns also, or of sinks, and abundant rivers or irrigation channels are all utilized for fish farming. Especially duck ponds have also been made for this purpose. You have figure 6.7. You can identify a number of the fish farms spread throughout Punjab, uh, which is and Sindh, and a few areas of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Fish farming involves raising fish commercially in tanks or enclosures such as fish ponds, usually for food. It is the principal form of aquaculture, while other methods may fall under mariculture. Fish are the most environmentally friendly animal protein to produce, efficiently converting feed into meat while generating a fraction of the greenhouse gases of livestock production. It's estimated that farmed salmon are fed more antibiotics per pound than any other livestock. That's why fish farming is a good contribution into the food edibles. Fish farms are rectangular man-made ponds for breeding of fish. They have a concrete or cemented impervious base. Impervious means like non-penetrable base to prevent water losses through leakage. The side of the farm is edged with solidified mud. Trees are normally planted around the fish farms to provide oxygen, to minimize water losses through evaporation, and to keep the water body cool. This facilitates the growth and fertilization of fish. The main fishing centers are Manchar Lake in Dadu district, Keri Lake north of Theta, Haleji Lake west of Theta, reservoirs of Mangla and Tharbela dams, River Indus at Sakar Kotri and Theta. The main types of inland or freshwater fish are manasi, rahu, grass silver, Chinese species of carp, pala, trout, and thala, and many others. Government's efforts to develop fisheries. The government is taking a number of steps to improve the fisheries sector, which include the introduction of new fishing methods, the modern fishing methods, the development of value-added products such as canned or frozen fish by providing fish processing facilities. I have told you that value-added products are the ready products, not only the raw material, but when we are developing like the value-added products, it will give us more profit and which will increase our GDP and will lead to better economy of Pakistan. So the value-added products of fish industry are canned food or frozen fish. Guidance and weather information for the fishermen through broadcasting services and the meteorological departments of the government. The execution of development projects, execution means the implementation of developmental projects by the Marine Fishery Department, such as monitoring of deep sea fishing vessels. Fishing vessels are like, they are the fishing vessels which is like a boat or a ship which is used to catch fishes in the sea, deep in the sea. So that is strengthening of quality control laboratories and additional improvement in the Marine Fishing Department labs in view of World Trade Organization's requirements. Pakistan has a domestic and an international market for fish, shrimps, and fish products. At the domestic level, the catch from marine fisheries is supplied to the local fish markets through wholesale dealers. In Karachi, the main fishing center, street hawkers also buy some of the fish catch and provide door to door services. Street hawkers like a traveling salesman who are using carts and selling fishes in the streets. Frozen or processed fish is supplied to only a few large departmental stores in urban areas because people prefer to buy fresh fish and prawns rather than the processed ones. However, the local demand for fish is less than its catch. So this is the only industry in Pakistan where the production is more than its use in Pakistan. The per capita consumption is 1.6 kilogram pressure unit, and which is quite low as compared to the European countries where it is 20 kg pressure unit. So on the international level, Pakistan has a market for fish and fish products. About 30% of the total fish catch is exported to 30 countries of the world. Japan is the main market for fish and shrimps. USA, UK, and France are other markets. About 80% of the total fish catch of the Makran coast is dried for export to the Middle East. Pakistan earns more than 6% of its total foreign exchange by exporting fish and fish products. The expected socio-economic benefits of developing fish farming. During recent years, it has been realized that fish farming has greater scope for the people and economy of Pakistan due to the following factors, like greater return to fishermen. It will give greater benefit to the fishermen. There's less investment and greater return. Now, increased employment, it will give the employment opportunities to the people, especially the people, local people who are living in the coastal area. Use of technology and upgrading of skills will ensure increased fish production, which will increase the GDP of the country, and their favorable impact on foreign exchange earnings. Obviously, it will improve our exports and reduces burden on crop and livestock because with larger population, now it's very difficult for the country to provide food to the this larger population. So it can fish industry can give its own part in the food or the food of the for the people. There are so many problems faced by the fishing industry in Pakistan. The main problems are like the water pollution. Pollution on the coast of Pakistan is mostly limited to Karachi area. The Karachi fish harbour is severely affected by a variety of pollutants. Spillage of oil from ships and domestic and industrial waste is causing great harm to the fishing industry. And overfishing is another problem associated with the fishing industry, is that of overfishing of shrimps throughout the year, even in a breeding season. This problem is due in the main to foreign trawlers. Foreign trawlers are when some of the the boat that pull a large net, and some of the cone-shaped boat nets that can catch the large quantity, in which there are some baby fishes also included who are of no use, but we are restricting their growth. This limits the production of shrimps. There's a threat to mangroves, like mangroves that are breeding ground for fish and shrimps cannot grow well in polluted seawater, and the lack of financial resources, like Pakistan does not have enough capital to develop the fishing industry on modern lines, and in Pakistan most of the fishing is done in traditional lines, which results in low output. Sustainable fishing means leaving enough fish in the ocean, respecting habitats, and ensuring people who depend on fishing can maintain their livelihood. A conventional idea of a sustainable fishery is that it is one that is harvested at a sustainable rate, where the fish population does not decline over time because of fishing practices. Sustainable development means that fisheries should be developed to increase the food production for the present age. Balanced and effective measures should be taken to ensure that fish population are capable of growing and are accessible to future ages. Sustainable fishing allows humans to continually fish in oceans and other bodies of water indefinitely for edible seafood. Overfishing can cause a negative domino effect in a water-based ocean system that is difficult to stop. In Pakistan, few efforts have been made to ensure the sustainable development of fisheries. Some factors responsible for the low performance of the sector include overfishing, both by foreign trawlers and local fishermen. Catching baby fish, the use of illegal nets like the huge nets which can even carry the or trap the baby fishes. The destruction of mangroves, water pollution caused by industrial as well as domestic waste resulting in the extinction of the fish species. In order to develop fisheries on sustainable line, the government should take all those factors into consideration and should not allow foreign deep sea trawlers to operate in the area of the Arabian Sea, which is under the control of Pakistan, in order to avoid overfishing and to maintain a sustainable fish population. Implement the law banning the use of illegal nets. These have small holes which catch the baby fish. And maintain the ecological balance by strict enforcement of laws against the cutting of mangrove forest and water pollution. The development of fisheries on sustainable lines could result in many advantages like the provision of more food in the form of white meat that contains low cholesterol, vitamin D and other nutrients. White meat is very beneficial than red meat. White meat is of poultry and fish meat. An increase in employment opportunities in the fishing industry, an increase in foreign exchange earnings by exporting raw and processed fish and shrimps to Japan, Sri Lanka, and Middle East, the training and education of fishermen by teaching modern technological skills such as use of gill netters, satellite navigation, and the use of shoals for locating fish. Shoals means like the group of fishes. The development of industries which are relating to fishing such as the boat making industry, net making industry, fish processing industry such as salting, canning, refrigerating, packing and all type of processing of fish industry. An improvement in infrastructure facilities such as better roads, electricity supply, etc. I think this is enough for today's lecture. I'm giving you an assignment. You have to do question number 1 with its all subparts from page number 104 in your notebooks. Thank you so much, dear students, for watching this video. I hope everything would be clear now. If still you have any confusion, you can drop down your queries and in the comment box. I'll definitely entertain all your queries. Till then, Allah Hafiz.